All right. Hope everyone had a good day today. It is Wednesday, the 26th. I did not take any trades on the live. The only trade I took was on my small account, and I loaded longs pre-market. And the reason I loaded longs pre-market is because I was expecting the draw on liquidity to be this high. So I entered. I'm not exactly sure what my fill was, but it was somewhere down here, and I entered and just kind of let it run to the high here, and then I took it off. So I made 600 on the small account. So that's continuing to grow. I've been trading it like that. I haven't been trading it normally like my setups. I'm entering whatever I think the draw on liquidity is, or on bigger models. Like we were in this 15-minute fair value gap, pull back. I'm targeting buy side. So I just enter in and just hold it. So going into today, I was long biased until this buy side level was taken. Once this buy side level was taken, I wanted to see if we were either going to continue up with, bigger pressure to come take equal highs out, or if we were going to sell off. So going into a smaller time frame like the 5-minute, there was some long opportunities, and we'll go over them. First one, as was here, we had an SMT at the lows on NQ. Again, I'm charting NQ more than I am ES now because NQ is just so much better. The action has just been beautiful. We get a market structure shift right here. Again, big displacement. Oh, not SMT. And then we have a fair value gap created as well as a breaker block, right? Now, if we look at this 5-minute, right, we have this big breaker block here that we pull over, big move up, big move down, the same level that was the market structure shift. We pull this over. Notice how this was respected. If we look at a 15-minute, we continued to hold this order block and then ended up bouncing to the upside from there. And we also continued to hold this 5-minute fair value gap and then bounce to take out buy side. So looking at the 1-minute, there was no real setups. We just kind of ended up chopping a lot of the day. The only setup I would have taken was up here, but I was at the gym. So I do want to look at if there was a potential setup here. And there might have been on a smaller time frame than the 1-minute. But if I'm looking at the 1-minute, we have this high being swept. And I wouldn't really want to take a short position acting as this liquidity sweep because I'm confident that the draw on liquidity is this high. So again, when we kind of get into a range and the market opens in this range, I want to see either the high or the low of that range get taken first before, for me to get an A+ setup, right? I want to see that level being taken first before entering a trade. And today we opened up in that range and we just didn't take that level quick enough for our session, right? We didn't get this good trade until 12. So we'll go over it. So once this level was now taken, right? Once buy side's taken, we're now short bias. Now, we don't take any short until we get what we want, right? Because this can continue to run up, possibly take out equal highs. I want to see something show me that we're ready to reverse, right? So what do I look for? All right, well, I want to see some sort of internal level being swept, right? So looking at our model, right? If we're looking at this, keep in mind, we have that external level. I'm just going to push it to the side for now. We have internal buy side liquidity being taken, right? We get that one last push above the high. Okay, so now we want to see some sort of market structure shift with big displacement, right? Well, we have equal lows here. All right, so we draw in equal lows and we get that displacement. We get a push below, candle holds, and we get a fair value gap created here. This would have been your short entry on this fair value gap. The risk to reward on this is beautiful. Your first target should have been this low, which is your recent internal sell side liquidity. So we have everything we want. External liquidity swept, internal liquidity swept, market structure shift, pull back to fair value gap, enter short, stop above either the wick or this wick or the high, whatever, doesn't really matter. And then your first price target would be that sell side liquidity. And this was a beautiful trade. Big move. Came back to retest that one more time and then ended up selling off. And we ended up selling off all the way to sell side, right? Because if we're taking a bigger time frame, like a 15-minute out, what are we most likely going to hunt next? We're going to hunt sell side. And in this case, that sell side level would be the most recent low, which was this, right? So once we take buy side, we then went all the way down to hunt sell side. You could have left a runner to go sell side, never would have been stopped, because it was just a straight down move. So that was an amazing opportunity. Kind of upset I missed it, but again, always going to be more opportunity in the future. But this was a textbook A+ setup today on NQ, textbook. And I know some of you guys caught it in the chat, and I was happy to see that you guys can also see these setups now. You don't need me. That's the whole point. I want you guys to be able to see these setups on your own so you can take them. Another entry again, after this fair value gap is hit, if you do not get filled, where do you think you can re-enter? There's multiple places that you could probably catch this move, because if we're bearish, right, we're expecting at least this level to get taken. So where could we enter? Number one, you could try to enter a short here and then put your stop above this high. Once you get this retest of the fair value gap, then get a dump, you then would enter maybe on another fair value gap right here, another possible entry. But once this first level is hit, I would not take a trade. Now, until that first internal level is hit, you can honestly get in, but you want to most likely get in on a PD array, like a fair value gap, if you don't get that original entry. But once that first internal sell side is hit, you don't enter the short. That means you missed your entry. But there's always extra areas that you could potentially enter, as long as you put your risk on, you size properly, whatever it is, because you don't want to enter here, right? And then have to put your stop at whatever the trade would be invalidated at. And at this point, you don't want to put it up here. The risk reward is just not worth it, right? So today there was a beautiful trade on NQ. I don't even want to look at ES, to be honest, because ES is buns right now. I want to start with that. Any questions based off of any price action today, any trades that we took? Or just anything in general about today? How do I identify market structure shift? Good question. So after liquidity's been taken, you want to see some sort of prominent high or low being swept with a big displacement move, right? So right when we take this level out, we want to see what's our most recent low here. Well, once we take this level out, our most recent low is this, right? But I don't want to see, we're most likely, once liquidity is swept, it'll form a low. Most of the time, it'll form that low after that level has been swept. Just like, notice how these lows were formed after this, right? So once you see prominent low, right, we have equal lows here, and we get a big push through this, right? We get a big push through it. You could have had an early entry here, or you could have waited to pull back to the fair value gap again and get another entry. But you want to see a large move through whatever that market structure shift is. Once you see that liquidity, that level swept, right? So for example, if we can find, let me see if I can find another example, like this trade back here, right? Once that level swept, we then form equal lows. Once those equal lows are then broken through with large displacement, we look for a fair value gap. In this case, it was a 2-minute implied fair value gap, which an implied fair value gap is, remember, you go to the half point of the wicks on the 3 candle formation. That's your fair value gap. And you would enter a short off of that. So you want to see whatever that low gets formed after the market structure shift. You want to then enter a fair value gap after you see that low being taken with that big move, right? You don't want to see this. You don't want to see a little push below and then a big move back up, right? You want to see, a follow through that low, right? Like just like this, you get a big push through the level and then a retrace into the fair value gap. Have you seen Johnny Trade's TikTok saying ES and NQ will most likely dump this week? I have. I was talking to him. He's in a group chat that I'm in. We talk together. Everyone's so sus. It's hilarious. I know. I think I did see that. He thinks it's going to dump. In my opinion, the market can do whatever it wants. The reason why I understand why he thinks it's going to dump is just because of the price action we've been seeing recently. We got like a lot of selling pressure the other day than we've been seeing, right? Notice how we've just kind of been chopping, but we actually got like that big move down. In my opinion, I am long biased though. I am long biased. And the reason is because on, a bigger time frame, we are holding this fair value gap still, this daily fair value gap. We've swept this 1 hour sell side level. We had a big move up holding this fair value gap. In my opinion, the draw should be these highs on NQ. That's my opinion. But market can do whatever it wants, and we'll still be able to find a trade either way. With SMT, if NQ swept high and ES didn't, do I want to trade NQ or ES? Would I trade the one that was swept? I normally trade the one that swept liquidity. But if you get a better setup on the other one, then I would trade the other one. It all depends on whatever the setup is after that level's taken. Had my finger on the sell button, 0.3 on the week, got scared. Definitely need more confidence in my strategy. Yep, just takes time. Lower your size, build up the confidence. Was considering taking that short, but I didn't think it was enough for market structure. Well, even if you didn't, there was, after you got that break, there was still another entry given, right? Like if you didn't get that initial fair value gap entry here, once you see that sell off and you get the displacement, then you take whatever that next fair value gap is, right? Which would be this, and then this would be your entry. And then you could put your stop at whatever, if you want to put it up here or you want to put it at the top of the wick. I would most likely put it, if I was to take this short, I would most likely put it at the top of this wick. Remember, that's what's going to like invalidate the trade, right? Because we could still come up, potentially take this high out, maybe form an SMT like this, and then head lower. So I don't want to be stop hunted like that. So I'd most likely put it up there. But there's always re-entries if you miss that initial entry, especially if you're confident in what the draw on liquidity is. And at this time, the draw on liquidity would be this low. And then once we see it continue to sell up, the draw would be whatever that external low is. How will you know if the displacement went too far to invalidate the trade? What do you mean? How will you know if the displacement went too far? Well, you'll know because you won't get an entry. Like, I'm guessing that's what you're saying. Like, if you're saying we just kind of sold off, if we just sold off, then you don't get an entry. And sometimes that happened. Like, I remember like 2 weeks ago, that's the kind of moves that we were getting. We were getting very instant moves. We were not getting our entries. We had liquidity swept, but it would just be break of structure and then we just flush and there would be no pullback to fair value gap, no entry. So is that what you're talking about? I mean, it'll happen sometimes, but again, you don't force an entry unless it's, given to you for everything you want. I know you said ES is cheeks, right? Now I agree, but I wanted to ask if you review my short at 12.18 on ES from today. I thought it was on par with A+ setup on NQ. Yeah, let's see it. Let me check. 12.18. Let me check. Oh, that's not ES. $12.18. You have this high being swept. You have an SMT with NQ because NQ took that high out. I don't even need to look at NQ. You have this SMT. Let's see. I'm guessing it was the same. Yeah, same trade. So this is a great setup too. A+ on ES as well. I'm guessing it was this. Yeah. Yeah, great setup on ES as well. And first target for this would be the low. Or if you want to scale early, it'd be equal lows. If you miss initial entry and look for a range, do you wait to see market structure shift? No. You don't wait to see all of it again. You just wait for whatever that next fair value gap is, right? So if I was into here, right, and I'm confident this is the next draw on liquidity, and I miss this initial fair value gap, just take the next one, right? We pull back into this fair value gap, you get another reentry here, and then we continue to sell off. And then you get another fair value gap here, continues to hold, and then you sell off, right? If you're confident on the draw, right, that's why we trade liquidity sweep, because you have all of this room to work with. Once this high gets swept, you have all this downside room. So there's a lot of entries you could possibly take, but I'd most likely, for me, I don't like taking a trade if I don't get at least these first two. If I don't get these first two, then to me, it's chasing. So going into tomorrow, let's take a look at news real quick. So we have unemployment claims 8:30. Not really anything to worry about. Again, pre-market, so don't really care. And then we have home sales at 10 a.m. Keep in mind, I do want to say something about 10 a.m. news. I've been back testing this, and I'm pretty confident to say that when 10 a.m. news happens, when we get a 10 a.m. news day, whatever it is, most of the time when there is an initial move, you do not take that move. Even if that move creates a break of structure, a fair value gap, break of liquidity, or whatever it is, you do not trust that move to do what you want it to do. All right, everyone listen to that. If we have 10 a.m. news, if we break structure, right, do not take it as a break of structure. Always wait, because that news move most likely will fake you out. For example, we had a 10 a.m. news. Fuck, what day was this? I don't even know if I can find it. I probably won't be able to find it. What day was it? Hold on. Let me see. What day was it? What was the most recent day that we had 10 a.m. news? Yesterday. Was this yesterday? It might have been yesterday. Let me check. I think it was somewhere up here. I want to see if I can find it. Tuesday. Here it is right here. This is it right here. This is 10 a.m. news candle, right? So if we're looking at structure here, we're paying attention to where that is. We just swept the low. Big buyers, right? What do I think the draw is? I think the draw, number one, would be this high first and then this high, right? But if I zoom in on a 5-minute, we have a 5-minute fair value gap. We're continuing to hold this level. We're continuing to hold. Pretty confident that we're going to come up to take these relative highs out, right? If I look at a 1-minute, right when news comes out, I'm like, yo, we're holding this fair value gap. You know, we're holding this fair value gap. We get an SMT at the lows here. You know, this would be our market structure shift, right? And then we have a fair value gap here, right? This would be a long entry, but you don't long this because it's 10 a.m. news. This was 10 a.m. news that caused that move. So whenever the move comes at 10 a.m., just wait, right? Just wait, see what the market wants to do first. And then you can, you know, reevaluate whatever you're looking at. But I know a lot of people that got faked out by this move. And I've been looking at a lot of times when we do have 10 a.m. news days, you'll get similar fake out like that. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm going to continue to backtest it and watch what happens tomorrow when we have 10 a.m. news. Okay. Going into tomorrow, we'll start with ES. Bigger time frame first. We are in a weekly fair value gap. We are in a weekly fair value gap, and we have not yet taken buy-side liquidity from this recent high. I would want to see this high get taken first before heading lower. So we're in this weekly fair value gap. I want to see this. Going to a daily, we also have a daily fair value gap. Now we have multiple. We have this right here that we're in. I'm actually just going to draw this in because the weekly, this one kind of just makes it cleaner. So we're in a daily fair value gap. We just swept this internal level, or it's an extra, well, whatever time frame you're on, doesn't really matter. But we also swept this sell side level here, pushing through. We have internal swept now. I would want to see us put a low in here soon and then bounce. Low hanging fruit liquidity, in my opinion, would be sell side. First sell side draw would be this high. Take all this stuff off. Would be this high. I want to see this high get taken first. And then potentially continue to see higher. But we've been seeing a lot of strong selling pressure. So I would not be surprised if we do see some sort of sell-off tomorrow. But I am still going to be long buys just based off my edge. I don't care what the market thinks or what other people think. I'm going to trust what I think. And liquidity is taken. We're in a fair value gap. I'm expecting some sort of bounce. Looking at NQ, again, NQ looks a lot stronger than ES. And if we look at the lows as well, we're also forming an SMT. So we have SMT at the lows. We're forming, we've swept liquidity. We're forming SMT at the lows. I think that we're going to get a bounce. So looking at NQ, the draw to me is now this high first. We have 15-minute fair value gap, SMT at the lows, expecting pull back to this and then take out buy side. Where does 50 fib fall on the daily drawback for that? We're in discount. We're in discount on both ES and NQ. So if we look at like a daily here, and I draw in whatever that recent low is, right? Which would be here. It's kind of hard to tell. but we've hit 50%. Even if I put it to this low, we've hit 50%. But if we do look at a weekly, we're not in 50%. So we could potentially see more sell-off to these areas. But the reason I don't expect us to sell off this much is because we're so close to taking buy side that I'd rather just see us get bought up here and take buy side. I don't think we need to hit 50%. Would you be more confident taking shorts on ES if it's been weaker between itself and NQ? It all matters what happens in front of me. I'm not going to, even if, I've been seeing more these past recent days, if the time comes where I'm looking to take a trade and I can see that ES is more weak and it's a better setup, then I'll take it. But I don't care about what happened yesterday, what happened the day before. Every day is unique. So I have to see what's actually in front of me when the time comes. Any last questions? That's pretty much all I have for you guys. Not too much to talk about. Again, I just filmed that daily bias video, so go watch that when I post it, because there's a lot of good information on that, on how I form daily bias. And I'm hoping you guys will be able to do the exact same thing, just like I do every day. When we go to our charting session at night, just the way that you can just navigate the market and understand what the draw is. Like for today, I was confident that the draw on liquidity was this high. I entered longs pre-market, sold it at the high because I'm confident I'm long biased until this level taken. So I target this level, sell my longs, let the market do whatever it wants. And then I do the same thing when I have another confident draw on liquidity. I'd like to learn a little more about ICT SMC concepts. ICT has a ton of videos on his YouTube. Any specific courses, videos, playlists? 2022 ICT mentorship. It is like 40 videos. It'll take you a long time to watch it, but you should watch it. ICT 2022 mentorship. It is long, but I believe everybody should watch it if they want to trade like me or like any ICT trader. Now, a lot of the stuff he covers, I don't use because I've kind of just, formed my own way of trading his style, but I still think it's important. Would you be open for an AM session, having VIP members hop on the live stream, try and prove what they have learned? I bet it would be a good learning experience for everyone in lives. What do you mean? Like what time? An AM session? Like pre-market? Or an AM sessions, having a VIP member hop on the live stream, try and prove what they have learned. I bet it would be a very good experience live. When you go live every morning. The thing is like, I'd love to do stuff like that, but I don't want to, again, people pay to see, be a part of this community and watch me trade. And sometimes I get messages where, people don't like that we, go off topic sometimes, play music, which I understand, but I want to build a friendly community, especially when, there's nothing, going on in the markets. Of course, I'm just going to talk with you guys, answer questions, stuff. But I think sometimes we'll do it. I'm fine doing that in charting sessions, bringing people on and talking about, potential trades they took or any problems they've been having. I'm happy to do that. But in the live sessions, I don't think bringing people on is the best. I mean, sometimes we'll do it. We've done it in the past, but actually live trading with me, I think is a little different. Because we're forced to prove why we take trade. I mean, I don't want to do that while I'm taking a trade though. Like I want to be focused. I want to, again, my goal here is for me to be locked in. Like a lot of traders don't even have a Zoom chat when they trade. Like I like looking at all the questions and answering with you guys, but I try to be as dialed as I can to give you guys, the best trades I can possibly take and show you guys how you need to be, how you should trade. And if I'm not fully focused on that, then, I'm not teaching what I think is the best thing. Was there anything you did in the beginning of your trading career to make it more disciplined not to take trades to your setups? I always say this, if you're not disciplined outside of the market, you're not going to be disciplined inside the market. If you're not doing everything in your life to, improve as a person, you're not going to, have the discipline to sit in front of the charts. If you don't have the discipline to get off your ass and go to the gym every day or, a couple times a week or whatever it is, you're not going to have the discipline to sit in front of the charts and wait for your trade. If you don't have the discipline to do whatever work you need to be done, whether it be homework, paperwork for your job, whatever that is, if you, want to sit on a couch and watch Netflix instead of doing that, you're not going to have the discipline to sit in front of the market and not take a trade. It's the same thing. Every aspect of your life, you should be implementing discipline in. And overall, as a person, you will have the discipline with whatever you use, right? A lot people underestimate how important it is and how your life should be structured outside of trading and how much an impact it will have on your actual trading. But also the biggest thing for me in not taking trades is just a mindset shift, because the mindset shift is I know what makes me money. So why would I give any other chance the opportunity, right? I know the biggest probability. So why would I even let my mind go to the thought where I could be like, oh, I could make money here, but okay, I know I can make money here, but is it worth it? I don't know if this is going to work out for me. I don't have a probability. I'm not trading off an edge right now. So there's no reason for me to be taking a trade unless I get single thing that gives me the confidence for a winning trade. You got to think of it as like a business. You would never invest money into something. If you're a business owner, you'd never invest something that you think might work out for you. You don't have a lot of confidence, but you're not going to just throw your money into that. You got to think of it like trading. You want to get as much confidence as you have in something for you to put your money on the table for it. And that's why we have our edge. That's why we have a strategy. We want to see all these things align for us to have the most probable, experience for whatever we're trading. All right. I think that's all I have for you guys tonight. I'll post the recording, and I'll post the daily bias video will be up tonight as well. All right, guys. Thanks for coming by. Again, hopefully you learned something. I hope you guys are getting something out of these starting sessions. Enjoy the rest of your night. Again, did not take any trade on the live today. Did not get a setup or a good setup early in the market. Again, a lot of the good setups have been coming later in the day. So hopefully we can get something tomorrow morning. But I am green every day this week so far. So let's keep it alive. I am 6 for 7, I think, on this week. So I've only taken one loss, and it was on the live, which fucking sucks. It was on Tuesday. So we'll see if we can get some better trades and better opportunities in the morning tomorrow. So enjoy the rest of your night, guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.